The government is telling you another big job lie today, the biggest one yet. They're saying 500,000 jobs were created. We were expecting about 160,000. They're also saying that more people quit their jobs than expected, and that is a sign of the strength of the labor market. It's bollocks, as Winston would say. Winston and Felix here. And let me tell you the real data. So there are about 1.7 million people officially unemployed, according to the government. Now, does not include people who have been paid off to leave their jobs. So the 100,000 people or so who quit tech this year, generally speaking, Silicon Valley guys don't run to the nearest labor office and claim unemployment benefits. While Winston's sniffing around, let's keep an eye on him. But that isn't actually the big job lie. The really big jobs lie is also not that those 500,000 jobs probably consist largely of part-time jobs as people struggle to have one job that actually pays the bills, so they get several. Literally, where did he go? He's in the grass somewhere, isn't he? There he is. The real jobs lie is that 99 million working-age Americans are not working. Let me tell you this again. 99 million working-age Americans are not working. They're not seeking employment. Unlike Winston, he's obviously seeking something very smelly. And that means they are not included in the labor market statistics. So actually, the United States has an unemployment rate of about 30%. 30%. Not 3, not 5, not 10, 30%. But politicians don't like the number. It's very hard to get elected when you tell everybody a third of the country is unemployed. So what do they do instead? Well, they don't include those who are not actively seeking and knocking on the door of the Labor Department every week. So even if we had created 500,000 jobs in June, it's a tiny, tiny percentage, 0.5% of the number of people who are actually unemployed. Now, it's an inconvenient truth, which is why the government doesn't tell it to you, and it's about to get a lot worse. Why? Because they are going to create a lot more unemployment. Well, not they, but AI is and robotics are. I was just in a restaurant. Guess who cleared the plates? A robot. He drove him to the kitchen. He did a very good job. I didn't tip him, though. And because that's going to create massive unemployment once again, with relatively well-educated, relatively well-paid jobs, think HR and administration and legal and all those kind of fields where you do repetitive tasks that involve a lot of data, logistics, purchasing, quality control, all that sort of nonsense. And therefore, they're going to bring in the universal wage, and they're already testing it right here in the UK, where Winston and I are at the moment. Japan is just introducing it, and it's going to happen everywhere because governments can basically handle as much unemployment as the country is willing to pay for. So we are already paying for these 100 million people in one way or another through some sort of government handout largely, and we're going to pay for a lot more people to not do anything. And you might think that's brilliant. You get to do nothing. You can hang out in the park like Winston and me here. But if you don't have anything in your life that gives you fulfillment, that gives you a sense of achievement, that gives you the opportunity to actually do something positive, you will feel miserable. Now, you might be thinking, I work in a cubicle, I hate my job, I'd be perfectly happy to sit in the garden. All right, fair enough. But they're going to keep you on a relatively low income, which will prevent you from really enjoying the lovely things in life. And they might even, with the digital central bank currency, be able to say what you're allowed to buy, right? You could get credits and you can only spend them at Walmart. Imagine that, right? Seems absurd, but it's basically food stamps, isn't it? So with the influence of big companies and the amount of money they donate, isn't that what you would be saying? I would be if I were in that position. So I think we have a real choice here, and I think we're at a real cusp of inequality becoming an enormous thing. There'll be the 90% of people who essentially depend on government handouts in one way or another and will live a life dictated and set by the government, and you will not be allowed to do things outside of it because you can't afford to. And then there'll be the 10% who are doing something, and out of the 10%, the 1% will be really successful and they will genuinely enjoy this wonderful planet that we happen to be living on. So you can make a decision right now which ones you want to be. If you have one income, one salary, one job, I'm sorry to say, you're very likely to be the 90%. But you can do something about it. You can get another income stream, and there are so many things you can do. In fact, AI is an amazing opportunity. You can learn how to trade with us. We're running a free webinar next Tuesday. thefelixfriends.org/webinar, links down below, and I will show you my exact strategy, and it takes 3-4 hours a week. So you can still sit in the garden, but you can actually make an income. Or you can do one of many things that are potentially much, much more profitable than what you're currently doing. So really, I think we're at a moment, it's like industrial revolution. It's kind of like there will be a massive class of people who will struggle and live a pretty tough life, and there'll be very, very few people who own the factories. And this is one of those, except you don't need to own the factory. You just need to own income streams. You need to own assets. In New York, the statistics is just out, 70% property transactions are cash. What does that say to you? Well, there are quite a lot of people out there with a lot of money. And you might be thinking, well, I haven't got that kind of money. Well, you can. You can change that. Money isn't difficult to get. Money is just energy. You just have to want it, and you have to do something about it. 99% of people don't do anything about it. They just say it's hard to get, I haven't got enough, and they leave it at that. So don't let that be you. Come and join us next Tuesday, felixfriends.org/webinar. Subscribe to the channel, folks, and let's Winston enjoy the grass here in London. I wish you a beautiful day.